Well, what is up, people? Hello, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Cup Chasers podcast. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Yes, it's been a wonderful, crazy weekend in the Premier League. Also in the Carabao Cup Final. Of course, Klopp's kids get one over well, you heard what Gary Neville said.
Jesus.
And, of course, Arsenal dominance at the Emirates.
Yeah.
Love to see it. Wonderful reaction.
Yeah.
Man City, another maybe concerning, some might say arrogant performance away to Bournemouth there on the coast. Lots of action in the league as well. And of course, there's FA Cup during the week. Before we get back to Premier League, all right, right out the rip, let's get those likes up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Of course, thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. We're on our way to 200 subscribers. So let's go ahead and do that for us as well. If you're enjoying all the content, get the little notification bell on as well. All right. Klopp's kids. Good grief. I heard that 5 of the guys that ended the game for Liverpool played in a U21 match for Stoke City not too long ago.
Did they? And it looks like he used, is it 6 subs? Yeah, because you get one in extra time, right?
You get an extra one in extra time, yes.
Jesus.
And Pochettino comes out and says that because they were tired, they maybe were playing for penalties, but he only used 3 subs.
Couldn't be. No, it said 4. It's 4. He used one late.
He did use 4? Okay.
But he couldn't.
That's right, because Chalobah came on. Yeah.
For nothing.
For nothing at all. Oh, man. Unfortunately, our Chelsea contingent looks like X will be showing up soon. Patrick may not be with us this evening, but X will be showing up for his cooking. We're definitely looking forward to that. But, we'll go ahead and get our thoughts in beforehand. Man, it's just tough to see it. It's tough to see a team in the 90 on top. I don't know, man. And then against literal kids, sit back with the better players, the fresher players. I mean, Madueke come on in the 70th. They took Chilwell off because he was being a bully, trying to fight the kids.
Caicedo's still stamping on people.
Yeah, like that's, man. I think it's a red card. Well, we can look at that one. It's been called a red this season. That's for sure.
You know the thing that gets me, man, is this is and X has said this a bunch, and Patrick may have kind of leaned this way. Whenever they have an expectation of them, they drop the ball, man. Like if you look at their starting lineup versus the Liverpool starting lineup, there's no reason.
Yes, it sure was an M. Night Shyamalan ending, Lawrence Legends. Something like that.
Well, for them, it's M. Shyamalan, Lama, bad movie, man. But
right.
Like, they look, if you're looking at their starting lineup, it's Jackson and Gallagher with Sterling and Palmer on the wings, Enzo, Caicedo, and then a back line that played solidly against City.
Mm-hmm.
What's Liverpool really had nothing, and they struggled. And then the bad part was, now the funny thing is that that offsides goal, the first one, I think he was offsides, the Chelsea one, but the angle they shot was so terrible. Like it was like how do you draw a line on that? Like,
I know they had to have a better angle. Please tell me that wasn't the VAR angle.
Well, I saw a second one and they both were bad because one was at this angle where you at like the front, like sort of front 15 degrees, and the other one was like I'm like, you don't have a line where they are. I know there was a camera there. It's in Wembley. Like, I know
come on,
above them.
You can't convince me there wasn't a better angle than that. I was shocked that they didn't show a better angle. I mean, it from that angle it looked off, but that was just, what was it, like 50-degree angle. That was a horrible angle.
And he did. I mean, because each one I'm like, well, you have to account for that like the angle and where he looks, and you're like, okay, he's off. But then, so they disallow it. But then the Van Dijk one now, I'm struggling, I guess. But
what are you struggling with? What are you struggling with?
But like they said, was it Endo impeded him, right?
Endo from an offside position. He started in an offside position,
right?
So say Endo heads the ball, he's offsides.
Correct.
But so I do agree with you. I do understand your confusion where this happens all the time in the box on corners and free kicks. And if Endo's not offsides, there's nothing wrong with it.
Right.
Which is why people are like freaking out about it and are kind of confused. But the fact that he was offsides, and by the letter of the law, he interfered with the opponent's ability to play the ball or make a play on the ball. Because let's be honest, when they scored the goal and everyone saw the replay, literally everyone was going, what is Chilwell doing? Marking Van Dijk. What? And then it turns out that he wasn't supposed to be.
Right. His mark was
mark was impeded by an offsides player. So I get it. And I think by the way the law is written, now you can have beef with the law. We've seen that plenty of times this season. But by the letter of the law, they followed it. And so I don't really have an issue with it.
Yeah, because I looked at it, and I'm like, I got where it was coming from. Like I'm like, okay, he took Van Dijk's mark out, like he did. But I'm like, oh,
it feels weird, doesn't it?
Like are we calling that in the cup final? Look, so then you probably hear where they're like, oh, well, it's making it fair on the other side, and I'm like, I guess so. It's whatever. But then like the game winner, that like I don't know what that was. That just
I've heard some scathing things about Mud Dog and his attempt to play the ball.
You got to throw the air quotes because that was I attempted the same way he did.
Yeah,
I attempted the same way he did.
I was about as close to blocking that off as he was in that one.
Like he literally watched it go over his head. Like he just watched it.
I don't know, man. Here's my overarching thing with Chelsea, and I'll tell X this as well when he gets here. But the fact that Bowley came in and everyone realized he would overpay meant that in the market as it was back in the summer, so many people were overrated, not only financially, but also in their level, their skill, this idea that the world, being good in a World Cup in 5 or 6, 7 games means you're all of a sudden this superstar, this $100 million player, kind of got Chelsea, and Enzo sits next to the literal best player ever.
And a stout midfield at that. Like it was a bunch of things. I mean,
all he has to literally, this is what the coach tells Enzo in the Argentina team. Keep the ball in front of you, give it to Messi.
Or Alvarez. You can throw Alvarez in there too, but just
and then now he's $100 million. Benfica got Chelsea, man. Brighton got Chelsea. Like all these guys and now they're stuck because they have this humongous price tag. And in our culture, in the way we rate players, they have to live up to such a huge price tag. And when in reality, Enzo is maybe a $40 million player. Caicedo is maybe a $50 million player, and they're just not, there's so much pressure. And let's not forget, they're really young. But they have both been really bad and have not even gotten close to that price tag. And I just think those numbers were inflated, and these kids essentially were grossly overrated, and without even Mud Dog is the best example. Mudryk is the best example. He's got less than 50 games professionally. And I mean, they don't have an excuse on Mudryk because he wasn't even in the World Cup.
None.
He had one good Champions League game, and all of a sudden, Shakhtar Donetsk thinks they can ask 90 million for him. That's why Arsenal didn't get him. We refused to pay that much.
Well, my thing about it is that I'm not going to knock Caicedo as a quality player or Fernandez as a quality player for the simple reason that Cole Palmer is in the team as well. And so my answer to that is these guys work in systems and they shine in the system. And if you don't send those guys to those similar systems, then they can't flourish. And I don't know which owners, because I was going to say Americans, but that's probably incorrect. But some of these owners think if I give you money, you're just going to produce the same thing without thinking about the backroom staff and the technical ability to coach these guys to play that way. And so, for example, I understood when Potter got brought in and then they brought Cucurella. Like, I understood that because that made sense because this guy played for him and you bring him in. The problem is the rest of the guys that were there didn't play with him. If they had bought Caicedo with Cucurella in that window, you could probably see a little more where it would have made sense and it would have been like better. But then the next thing is that these guys played for teams who never were expected to achieve anything. So anything they produced was above the standard. Mm-hmm. Whereas Cole Palmer, he comes into this team and he's producing and people are like, yeah, well, he's better than Foden. Well, I mean, look at the team he was in. He didn't get playing time because he's always been at the bar. So Cole Palmer comes into this team and is considered one of the best players in the team because he was always held to the standard of quality guys next to him. So it's fair for Cole Palmer to get that sort of evaluation because if Pep Guardiola is like, yeah, I see you're good. And then the guy was like, okay, I want to leave. And Pep was playing him. That's enough. Whereas, and we can use the exact contrast because Calvin Phillips is also the same thing where Pep bought him, but Pep saw the error, didn't play him. Now we see Calvin Phillips and the result is the result, right? It's not to say Calvin Phillips is bad. It's just what he did in Leeds, the expectations were not there of him. Jack Grealish had that same issue when Jack Grealish was at Aston Villa. He was a world beater at Aston Villa, came to City. He had to earn his stripes. He had a rough first season. Next season he comes in, he earns it. And now when he's not in the City team, before City players were hating on him. I was never one, but they were hating on him. And now they're like, oh, we miss Jack because, this young guy. I'm like, we have to understand, and I've been meaning to say this on here. Sports is one of those weird things where we think money is enough to get a young player to be mature. There's something to be said about the prodigies of Messi and Ronaldo, and that it's an Mbappe that's not heard of, where these guys with that much money, with that much pressure, with that much spotlight are able to produce and perform as expected and even more. Most of these, 90% of these guys can't produce there, not because they don't have the capacity, it's because you have clouded all of their judgment where they're like, well, I have to produce this way because of this money. And so they're unable to do it. So like Caicedo, think about what was the Caicedo story when he got signed. First thing they showed is he went home and bought his mom a car. Like it was never about ball. And I respect he did what he did for his family, but it was never about ball. It was never about that. I'm sure Mudryk probably did the same thing. So it's really close to, and it's not an equal sort of apples analogy when NBA players or NFL players get paid those big dollars and then they don't produce, and then it gets heavy because you're not playing against those college guys anymore. You're not playing against the NCAA guys. When you go to a Chelsea, when you go to an Arsenal, when you go to a City, a United, they're expecting you to be on their level. Like I can't remember the name. Remember there was a movie about a kid who went to Real Madrid and he couldn't cut it. I forget the name of it, but it was something. And it was his dream. He was a fantastic player, world beater. Everybody thought he was the best thing in the world. Went to Real Madrid, couldn't cut it. But that's the truth, because, like, for example, for all these guys who want to go to Madrid, Mbappe can go to Madrid, he'll be fine. But then how many guys who have gone there couldn't cut it? Because I know Colombia, James Rodriguez was a world beater at Monaco. People thought he was like, he was good at Monaco. He had an insane World Cup. And he's kind of Ronaldo-like. And then he gets there, and Ronaldo's there. And he never played. He never played. That derailed him, because then he went to Bayern, never produced. Went to Everton, never produced. And I think he's in Saudi now. I'm not sure. But James Rodriguez, who might be 30 now,
disappeared, man.
And he was the guy.
He vanished. He vanished off the face of the earth.
And so the question is, do you stay at Monaco or a smaller club and become a legend, or do you leave and chase money? And I in today's world, and this is my honest answer, in today's world, if I have the proper team and social media manager, I stay at the team I'm thriving at, because they can make it work. Like De Bruyne, Haaland. I mean, City and has nothing on Madrid and Barcelona. I'm gonna be honest about that. I'm not oblivious to this, but Haaland would have made way more money just across the board if he goes to Madrid, and he could later, right? But he went to City, and he became something because his team was like, "Hey, this is where he is. We're gonna make sure everything goes around this." And I'm sure that's in his contract somewhere where he has to play all the time. But that's because they made sure they protected that, and they had him everywhere. I mean, City has never had anybody on the cover of a sports game. He's on the cover.
Yeah. I think also, kind of devil's advocate, at least in the case of like Mudryk, who, his contract with Shakhtar couldn't have been, must have been pennies or whatever. And then here comes Chelsea, who were legitimately like an 8-year deal, like 8 years in the Premier League. That's a career.
The whole career.
That's the whole career. So if he's set, these guys with these long contracts, that's one thing that I don't know if Chelsea kind of thought about when they handed out these long contracts, is Mud Dog doesn't need to improve. He doesn't need to become a world beater. He doesn't need to, on a personal level, to make his bag. He's made his bag.
Yep. He's good.
He's solid, and I think there might be a bit of that in the Chelsea team, as far as this approach with these long-term contracts and these young kids who haven't seen money like that. Speaking of Caicedo going and buying his mom a car, this is money that they never dreamed of, and I think that it's definitely could be a part of the issue. But Xavier, buddy.
So the floor is yours, man.
My goodness. That was shocking and embarrassing and wounding and damaging. And why does you could have had it? It was there for the taking. It was there. What are you saying? Is he still on mute? He's on mute.
Here you go.
There he is.
Yeah, I have to turn the relay on. Anyway, it's a lack of tactics, man. I don't blame Connor for missing, because we know that's his, he's not a 10. He's not supposed to be the last guy in the box. Ooh. And, if you keep putting him there, if you keep putting him in this position to be that guy, then yeah, he's going to let you down. That's not Connor's bread and butter. Connor's bread and butter is going to run 15 miles in a game. You're in 13 kilometers.
Oof.
We know what to expect from Conor Gallagher. So no, I don't want him with the ball one-on-one with the keeper ever. I don't want the ball falling to him in the 90 ever.
But still, he's got to finish that one.
I agree 100%. Any professional should finish this. I don't understand, and I mean, you already kind of hit the nail on the head when you're talking about the contract links and how these boys are poised into the system. I don't understand why we have a player like Connor and we continue to play Enzo and Caicedo in these positions where we know the better fit would be drop Connor to play a defensive midfield I don't know if Enzo can't handle a 10 or handle the offensive play-making style of what we're supposed to buy him for. Don't play him. Sell him. Cut your losses. Get rid of him. Caicedo, again, you cannot hold up defensive midfield play. You're supposed to be bodying guys off. You're supposed to winning the second ball. You're supposed to be this monster of a midfielder. Cut your losses. Sell him.
Should he have had a red card?
No, because it's so unintentional. It's so intentional.
But it's about endangering the opponent.
Yeah.
Whether there's intent or not.
If you put your foot where I'm about to land mine, I cannot, bro.
My face hit his fist.
Yeah, I mean that's essentially the call he was trying to get.
He's done that kind of foul several times this season, man.
He did it twice too, man.
Caicedo's not even looking at my man. Like he's gone. Like his brain is on the next play and the ball in the other direction.
That's the point of the rule because you have to teach guys to look and pay attention.
It's not a red. But red is malicious intent.
It's endangering an opponent is the verbiage.
Yes.
It's in verbiage is endangering.
Knowingly do that or knowingly screw up. So
I don't know. What about Gusto? Was Gusto knowingly trying to hurt homie? When he got his red, I mean, it's kind of similar.
Reds, I've never seen someone be able to American football tackle an individual and Chile in the card. I don't want to hear it, bro. No, absolutely not. He went shoulder down. You want to talk about endangering play? Bro, this is not American football. I don't want to hear it. I'm done. And he didn't catch a red. I'm done. Offsides, that wasn't really an offsides because you want to draw the angle and not the last defender who's back, but the defender who's the closest one. It's not how offsides is supposed to be played either. We only get to see one angle, but then the Endo goal, they review it 7 times. Again, I understand that that's probably the makeup call, which I always argue for refs. Hey, we got that one wrong. We'll give you one later. So the goals canceling each other out, I'm fine. It's 1-1 before the 118th minute Virgil van Dijk goal.
I don't know. I think they got both of those right. But I will make 2 points. One, to be fair, McAllister was going in on Caicedo as well. So that was definitely they were going back and forth. I know Gravenberch ended up being the one that caught the end of it, but McAllister was also kicking Caicedo in a little I remember you from back in the day kind of deal. And also on the offsides from that angle, like the line, you know how sometimes when it's like super obvious, you can see the blue and the red line or the green line, whichever.
Mm-hmm.
All I saw was the red line.
Yeah.
So you know it was ridiculously close, and that angle.
It's his hand.
That angle is a joke.
Yeah, bro. Anyway, I'll never understand how the rule is not shoulders, waist, or feet. Like if you're a shoulder ahead, that means you have a whole body. You know, you started your initiation. A hand. I can't even use this, man.
A fingernail.
Use this. Oh, who cares if this is offsides? If I do this before the play, now I'm on. It's not a horse race, bro. It's not first one across the finish line. Like, anyway, all in all, I don't understand why you bring Connor out of this game. We gave up. As soon as those subs came on, bro, we gave up.
Yeah, they looked terrible in extra time.
We gave up so much. And Nkunku should have been on in the 50th, 60th minute. We waited to the late 60s or almost 70th.
Yep.
Chile
what's happened? Go ahead.
Bro, Chile coming off.
No, he had to come off. He was so gassed and so tired by all the 18-year-olds, by the 20-year-olds, that he was trying to fight Connor Bradley.
I mean, yeah, bro.
He was bullying the kids, man. Bully settings.
And you know what that does? It wastes time. I'm okay with that.
That's your captain, man.
Bro.
That's El Capitan. Dude, it was such a mess that they didn't know. It was such a mess that they clearly didn't know who to give the armband to.
Yeah.
And in the end, Enzo ended up with the armband, the literal worst player on the pitch.
Yep. Well, it's just when Connor came off, I get it. Again, he ran 13 kilometers or 12 in this one. He ran 13 last one. Bro, I get it. He's gassed. He's only got so much in his legs. You don't take him off. He's the only one still running, period. And I don't care if he's got nothing left. He's the only one still actually running. And it's just the in-game tactics, the in-game management, the how we are deployed. Jackson's not a 9. I don't understand why Nkunku doesn't. If you're gonna minutes this, Nkunku ends up playing again, probably 60 minutes because it went to the 118th.
Yep.
So let him start. Put Jackson in to later in the game. Let Nkunku actually get his legs underneath him. Let him start. Let him set the tone. Because a few of these, again, man, I don't get it. And
would you agree that in like one spell of the game, you guys were on top of it at the end of the 90 minutes?
Yeah, we had 3 opportunities right there in the 80th between the 90th to win. It's 3 opportunities, and
so
we just didn't play. Yeah, man.
So they blow the whistle, and you look at the huddles. Do you remember watching the huddles when they come back from commercial? Chilwell is getting the. It looks like they're about to do you know what on the field, the stretches, and then right next to him, it's Caicedo getting the same stretches or whatever. You're kind of spread out. There's no one doesn't seem to be, there are conversations between individuals, but there doesn't seem to be like a team talk going. And on the other side, Klopp's got his arm around, Bobby Clark, and he's over here with the Dan's guy, and he's, and they're all in a huddle, and Van Dijk's giving a speech, and it's all like, unity, and let's go, let's do it, win one for, it's the Klopp retirement tour. We got to, get up, and Jurgen Klopp's leading them, and Van Dijk is leading them, and then you come back out, and it's like,
garbage.
I'm thinking to myself, yo, it's there. Chelsea were the better team. The end of the game kind of came at the wrong time. If they could just keep going, just keep going. And then
we gave up and played for pens. We gave up and played.
Wasn't that my prediction? I think I predicted 1-1 in pens.
We gave.
You did. You did. You predicted a tie in pens.
Boys were playing for pens. When Trevor Chalobah comes on and hasn't played in 4 months, and he brings him on in a final to play an outside back position, bro, I'm done. I want him gone. Do you think
that Poch got bamboozled by the fact that Klopp was, and if I'm gonna have the same energy with you, Lewis, I know you can't say it's arrogance from Klopp because of how there's the devastation with the injuries. But on the other hand, when he first started to bring in the kids, I'm thinking to myself, he's taking off all his penalty kick takers right now. Is he going for the win? He's going for the win with who is this guy? That guy's wearing 65.
Yep.
What?
Be a hero. Nothing to lose, boys. Be a hero. He
legit took off Gakpo, who definitely would have taken a penalty. Took off McAllister, who definitely would have taken a penalty. Took off
I feel like we did the same thing though.
Diaz, took off Luis Diaz, who definitely would have taken a penalty.
I feel like we did the same thing. I feel like we did the exact same thing though.
And then to sit back and wow.
You know who comes into this game instead of Trevor? In all honesty, you want to play for pins, and that's the excuse you want to give me? Trevor's not the one you bring on. You know who you do bring off that bench? Thiago Silva. You know who Thiago Silva marks in that box? Virgil van Disney.
Van Dijk, yeah. Hey, I mean, in a big pressure moment to bring on, that would be the only leader to bring on the field in the big pressure moment.
That's the only substitution on defense I would have made, other than the fact that Chile.
No, that's perfect.
To come off, he's on the bench. There's no excuse. He dressed for the game. He was.
You love playing Colwell left back. Just push him wide and put Silva in there.
And say, don't let anything else don't let anything enter this box that is dangerous for us. Clear it. And guess what Silva's good at doing? Clearing it off the line and marking a man in the actual box because he's actually been there. He has the head for it, and he's not going to let Disasi be on the middle of the post where Van Dijk makes a near post run. And who in God's name lets Mudryk be the one to mark the best header that they absolutely have on the other side? No.
You know
what that does not happen. I truly believe it's Thiago's in that game on that defense, telling them who to mark and where to be. That's on, not Trevor. That's your fault, Posh, and I want him gone. I told you to bring in Mal before this. I told you to bring in Mal before the final. You won a trophy. Don't let a Spurs manager lead you into a final because it's exactly what freaking happens. We lose it. We bottle it. We're just as bad as Tottenham.
I actually love the fact that Klopp did what he did because Klopp is like, I'm out of here. He already had a built-in if he lost, I had to play the kids.
Yeah.
He was playing with house money. There was nothing
to lose.
Nothing.
He was
So it didn't matter who he put on.
joking around, not taking it serious.
Salah and Nunez are in the stands just yucking it up because they're like whatever.
And back to my arrogance point, he says Nunez is injured, right? I don't know if y'all saw his celebration. Looking like he was on the last hurdle at the Olympics, 100-meter hurdles. You know what I'm saying? X, tell me about my man Raheem Sterling.
I want him gone too.
With an absolute shocker.
Shocker of a game.
Can you even call it a shocker? He just wasn't even there. It was a cone, a ghost.
No, because he's a plant, man.
He took Kai's invisibility cloak for the day.
He's a plant. That's all he is. It's a mercenary plant.
How many years is left on his contract?
Not long enough.
Too many.
I think it's 3.
Tell me he didn't catch one of them 6-7 year deals.
No, it was before that. No, he caught I think he did a 3-year. I think he has 3 years left.
Oh no,
$300,000 a week. He's our highest paid player.
Jesus, that's too much. You got to get him out.
Gone straight to the Saudis.
Saudi, please. Al Ittihad, we're begging you. Al Nassr, somebody come in for him.
Team will buy him. Another Premier League team would buy him.
Buy.
Nobody
really.
But
Luton Town, bro. That's where he would.
I'd loan him to Nottingham. Bye.
He would cook at Luton Town, man. On that other side from Ogbene, there you go.
Done, dude. It's just we lack leadership from top down. We lack leadership in the locker room. We lack leadership as a manager. We lack leadership from our owners.
It's weird because the funny thing is I seen you and Patrick in the chat X where you're like you're done, and the thing about it is that we look at it and we you still have another competition, which we're being honest.
No, we don't.
Well, you do, but you know what I'm saying, right? And so I look at it and I'm like, well, what's he managing for now?
Right.
I don't even know what he's managing for.
Oh, season's done, man. It's Potter. He has the same points Potter has. He's the same position Potter's in.
I thought he had less.
Oh, now it's 23.
Come on, man. You can, dude. It's only Leeds. They're only second in the championship,
bro. As soon as we get past that in the FA, I'm telling you, bro, we're gonna get wrecked if we go deeper in the FA. Wrecked.
I'm not gonna lie. As much as I don't, want. I'm not okay. I can't. I say I'm not gonna lie, and then I'm about to tell a lie. Okay, I am enjoying the Chelsea pain. I'm not. I have to say that. But I do also want Leeds to win for a different reason. If Chelsea beat Leeds, then it's a 2.5 week gap between Arsenal's Porto game and the City game. Yeah. If Leeds beat Chelsea, then we play Chelsea on March 16th, and it's less of a gap. Yeah. And so
keeps you fit. Yeah.
It keeps us kind of, But hey, last time we had a break and we went to Dubai, so hopefully they'll hop that plane, go back to Dubai right before the City game. That would be nice. But we'll definitely get to the Arsenal. Oh man, Pochettino, man,
bro, and bringing Nani on,
what's happened to Madueke, dude? Not just this game, but the last game too. Awful. Come in and was nothing. Or no, the one where he got subbed at halftime.
Yeah.
And then he comes on and didn't do anything.
That was the Villa game, I think. Yeah.
Didn't do anything in this game. I was telling we were talking before you came on about how I think back in the summer and right after the World Cup, the market was so crazy that almost all the players you guys have picked up recently have been overvalued and overrated. And because Todd and the people he allowed to steer them in, actually, you know what? He was sporting director, wasn't he? Yes. He was playing Football Manager.
Yeah.
So Todd got absolutely raked over the coals by Benfica and Brighton and wherever, and wherever all these other people come from.
Money. Oh, we want 20
Donetsk, and now these guys have so much pressure because we know in the league when you have huge numbers attached to your name, you must produce huge numbers of goals and good performances and the like. And they were never going to perform to that. And I think yesterday certainly showed, these Enzo, Caicedo are supposed to be these huge players for $100 million each, and they just first of all can't live up to it in general. Secondly, the pressure that's heaped on them from not only us here on the podcast and the fans and social media, and then of course Chelsea being supposed to still be this giant prestigious historic club, and so I think it's just gotten to them. It's just gotten in their heads, and they've been really poor.
Well,
and if you look back at the City game, the real reason that it was a combination of an arrogance and a kind of lackluster performance from City, with the fact that Caicedo, yes, he worked so hard. And yes, Enzo worked really, really hard that day. But it was the fact that all of them worked super hard together.
Right.
And then on Sunday, it's back to, okay, only Connor's going to work today. And he blew it.
And he
just blew it.
I feel so bad. Like, yes, I'm mad at Connor for not finishing at least one of those. The one I understand. Like, I want to hit. As an offender, the goalie chose right. I want to hit it low. I want to hit it away. I want to just redirect that ball.
But the one where Palmer puts it across and
all you have to do is change the direction.
He made the good run.
Mm-hmm.
If he to bring the defender, and then Connor's by himself, if he just hits it first time. I've heard the argument that Connor's not forward. Connors doesn't think like that. His first thought is never.
That ball's coming to him, and he's like, "God, please, why no? Please, God, I have to actually shoot now.
Please let me have a good touch. Please let me have a good touch." Instead of Haaland or De Bruyne, who's just gonna boop, little dink in back of the net. Alvarez, especially, that's like something that you would definitely see him just boop, just a little dink first time, no problem. Thank you very much.
Hung out to dry, and it makes me so upset for. Yes, it makes me upset at him for not converting. It makes me upset with the tactics for him being there. And then it makes me upset with the team. They should know, like, bro, you should know Connor's just not the one that needs to be in the box. Anyone else it falls to. If it falls to Palmer like that, I'm fine with it. If it falls to Raheem Sterling,
who was your left winger at that moment of the game? Where were they?
At that point,
was still Mud Dog.
At that point, well, yeah, the second one, it's Mudryk. Because Nkunku shifts to 9, Mudryk shifts over for the Sterling substitution.
Yeah, well, as much as Chelsea they absolutely threw it away, you got to give credit, man, to Jurgen Klopp, bringing in these kids, whispering in their ear, hey, man, just go out there and enjoy it. This is supposed to be a fun day, and go for it. Have no fear, don't be afraid. That's the main difference. And I think over a long period of time, and it's had me thinking about it since our last conversation about Arteta, and this last performance from Arsenal. It takes time to build something great, and it takes time for managers to build the confidence that they can and that they have built something great. So the reason Klopp was smiling, and the reason Klopp was grinning, and the reason he was real calm, putting his arm around these kids and being like, look, go out there and do it. Have fun. You've got a huge future ahead of you, is that he's confident in his abilities as a manager. He's confident that what he's saying is going to get them to want to run through a brick wall for him, because he's done that and he's seen the success that's come with it. Pochettino, on the other hand, has not seen any of this confidence to reinforce the fact that, hey, what I'm doing is working, And so when it comes down to it, in those huge moments, he's like, I don't know if we can we? Yeah, I don't know if and it's like there's no surety That was the main difference between the huddles before overtime. Liverpool were loose, calm, smiles. Chelsea kind of disjointed. They look kind of nervous. I mean, speaking of nerves, Malo Gusto 4 different times just lets it roll right under his. I mean, yeah, I think from Pochettino to the players all around, you guys were kind of cowed by the occasion. Just like Arsenal were, man.
That's what I said at halftime, bro. I was like, we're this moment's too big. Like, it's Pochettino's got inside of his own head. He knows how big the moment is, and it's too big for all of them.
But see, this is where it makes it weird because you have guys like Palmer has been a part of a championship winning team. And
was he really though? Like, how much did he?
I understand. Like you're saying, your point is like, did they lead it? No, but I mean, at some point, being around those guys, you have to just like pick it up because we use Sterling, right? Sterling was on those teams and he was a contributor to those teams, so he doesn't have an excuse at all. And Palmer was there with Sterling, so that should be enough, right? And then, I mean, again, you had Enzo in there that the air. And I say that seriously this time. And you're like, you didn't pick up anything, right? And so realistically, if I'm Pochettino, I do put my leader out there. Okay, my guy can only go 20 minutes. You put Silva out there and say, hey man, look, they're not steady. I can't lead them from over here. So I need you to lead them.
That would have been the substitution.
Can you lead them for me? And you do that because, like, in regulation, Chelsea should have won the game.
Yep.
Zero question, they should have won the game.
Yep.
So I mean, you look at that, and
I'm telling you, when he subbed Trevor on, I was at the bar. I told all the guys, I said that is the mistake that's going to cost us because I truly felt if it was defensive, Silva comes on. If anything else to close out the game after the 115th. If anything else to close out that game, if you're playing for pins, if you're locking down our defense, put defenders in there. Don't put a boy who hasn't played in 4 months. That Trevor has made like 4 appearances under Potter and Pochettino together. That's the guy you chose.
You could have even taken out Axel Disaster. He had a disaster.
That's the guy you chose to bring into this game. Nani, Trevor, Nkunku,
and Mud Dog.
And Mud Dog, that was your substitutions here?
Well, so to be progressive and going forward, Chelsea are very confused. And the issue with that is that the manager keeps saying every week, hey, we're making progress, we're looking better. And the players, there's no way, because I've played and I've coached. And there's no way that the manager can come out publicly and say, hey, we played well. Because at some point, the players are going to be like, hey, man, you got to say something about something. Even if you pick on a player, if you say, hey, this guy didn't play well, you got to say something. Because you just say, hey, look, man, you're going to be the guy. We're going to talk about you. Can you handle it? Can your shoulders handle this? I'm going to take some blame, and then we're going to look at the leadership on the field. And then you got to take the blame. Because if no one is taking accountability and you keep lying to your people about you're improving, because and what's more confusing is how do you show up against City? Okay, it's a big game. What game is bigger than a cup final? There's no game bigger than that. So why are we not showing up for that? And Liverpool literally were the walking wounded. They got somebody hurt in the game in the final.
Did y'all see Gravenberch literally left in a boot?
In a stretcher.
Yes.
Yeah. Or on the stretcher.
And you don't beat them?
No, at the end, he had a boot on his leg.
Yeah, at the end of the game, he was walking in the boot. And you don't beat them. So I'm saying now, okay, what do you do going forward? At this point, this is where, and I don't encourage anyone to fire anyone because that's not my place, is not my team. But you really have to look at the leadership in the locker room, and you can't get rid of players, and we already know the philosophy, since you can't get rid of players, there's only other one person you can get rid of.
I'm sorry. I will never change this DNA about this squad. It's win or leave, bro. I don't care. I do not care. It's win or leave. It's win or leave. I do not have Bro, we spent $1 billion. Do you think that the mentality needs to be anything different? Should it be anything different? Just because
let me ask you this. Say Leeds beat you. They're flying high, second in the championship. They just beat Leicester. I don't know if y'all heard about that. Last Friday, they beat Leicester. I think they beat Leicester, or maybe they dropped. I don't remember. It was a close one. I listened to something about it. But anyway, they've, so they're looking good. They'll be up for it for sure. And I mean, last time they played at Elland Road, or is it at the Bridge? I think it might be at the Bridge.
It's at the Bridge.
Yeah. But Leeds, I do remember not too long ago, old Brendan Aronson with a little tap in on the line and a nice 3-0 score line. So Leeds are going to be recalling that one for sure. And they'll be coming for you. But let me ask you this, man. If Leeds, and I know obviously you want Poch out, but if y'all have if you lose to Leeds at home and go out of the cup, and it's just like another embarrassing performance, do you think Bowley will do it? Do you think like that's the straw that he'll finally realize that it's like, all right, we got to bite this bullet and do it?
I hope we don't give I hope we and the board and the fans and the true lasting legacy and DNA of this squad does not let him keep him around. That should not be tolerated here.
Riots and protests.
Should not be tolerated here. And I'm sorry, you do not get the exception. You are not the exception to the rule. We treated Frankie Lampard the same exact way. Absolute legend, would give his kidney for the club if we asked him to.
Bring Frankie back for a caretaker for the rest of the
women.
Is he? Yeah.
But Terry, I'm telling you, like Terry's at the club. He'll always be at the club. If you really need an intern, I don't think Terry would mind.
Well, I think something you do need is a set piece coach.
Bro, set piece, yeah.
Y'all getting destroyed on set pieces.
And we knew the play. They scored off
it's the same one.
It's the same one. Because he picked out a weak midfielder or winger. I'm going to go up against him in the air. And again, if you're playing for pins, man.
Don't let Mud Dog Mark Van Disney.
To me, it makes no sense because just like you said, Jake, Klopp wasn't really playing for pins. He took everyone off because we were all sitting there too. We were like, all right, well, who's going to take our pins? Who was lining up in that final squad? Look at that last 11. You're trusting Nani to come take a pin. That's why you put him in the game. Enzo's going to take a pin.
Mud Dog.
Mudrick and Nkunku are going to take pens. Palmer, that's our 5.
I hear you. It's a bit of a crapshoot with your guys because we're not really sure about their penalties abilities, are we?
On the line, you already showed us he can't make one.
I think the logic was just reversed. For the same reasons, they're kids. We can definitely beat them in a shootout. It should have been, we're kids. Let's smash them now.
Or smash them in the 90s because we were smashing them.
The excuse that was given to the fans doesn't sit well with me because, again, the tactics show you weren't really playing for pins, which either A, means you got completely obliterated or bamboozled, or B, you really didn't have a plan and you just can't say that because you know that'll actually get you fired.
I don't know if anything will get him. I don't know if anything will get him fired at this point.
We go out to Leeds. I guarantee you there will be such a kick from the fandom that he will have no choice but to write him that check and bring in somebody else.
So what's the deal with this financial fair play thing now? Because now before it was they needed to make Europe, and now it's better. I'm confused about the whole
conference thing. Would cost us more than we would win in conference. So then it would negatively affect our book because it's not a positive. It wouldn't be a positive tournament even if we won.
It's not an attractive like game for people to go to at the Bridge on a Thursday night.
Money off the tickets. We can't make money.
It's kind of the thought, and so it's.
So the fix was it. They didn't want to win.
I mean, that and the secret check for the Klopp retirement tour. I wouldn't put it past them.
Oh my goodness gracious!
If Klopp's winning 4, I don't care who you are. Klopp's winning at least 3, if not 4. Y'all all need to get ready for it. We've experienced it twice. Y'all need to get ready for it.
He's won his only trophy. He's won his only trophy.
He's going to bow down to him for that.
Watch.
Yeah.
No.
Nah, dog. No way.
Leverkusen is no joke. The league is still the league, and in the FA Cup, that's luck of the draw. And
if you think for 2 seconds that Man City are gonna go to Anfield and lay an egg, you're out of your mind. I guarantee you that is about to be an absolute classic. That game is about to be an absolute barn burner. I'm telling you right now, there's not going to be any of this, oh, we're playing for pins. Oh, we're hoping to get a draw at Anfield. Hell no. It's going to be an epic game.
They literally, they are the walking wounded. Luton gave them a run. Teams are coming at them. They're coming at them. All they got to do is hey, we keep coming. Klopp can't. If Klopp played that same team, if he put that team in against Arsenal batters them.
Smash them.
Batters them. Do it against City. They batter them. Newcastle would have smoked them. So what I'm saying is the leader, and we've all agreed that the leadership at Chelsea is different because Eddie Howe is not the greatest manager in the world, but I promise you Eddie Howe gets that one across the line.
Yeah.
He gets it across the line.
For sure.
Ange, you put Ange in that. Ange gets it across the line. That's a Pochettino thing, man. But then it actually you put it out there, and everybody else has put it out there, and it's still not going to dispel it. But they're gonna have their confirmation bias. Chelsea is proving that if you spend a bunch of money, you can't buy titles.
No,
because people love to say, well, City spent money and they bought titles. Well, you can't buy quality, my friend.
No, it takes all three. You have to have the money to buy the quality. You have to have the manager to actually put the quality to work. Then you have to have the boys bought in and understand the DNA of the club that they're at. So therefore they want to convert that investment into a title. We don't have all three of those are disconnected for us. All we have is the money. And Jake said it best. They saw a clown with a big bag of money and everyone took him over the barrel for it.
Can't knock them. And because the other thing that you don't hear, because I know I heard it at City a lot, is City's buying mercenaries. Well, Again, we're not hearing the same things, and I'm not knocking Chelsea because I think, I'm steadily rooting for you. I've said before you should have brought Mourinho back. I'm like, hey, Jose's right there.
I'd have done it the minute he became available. I'd have looked at Pochettino and said, sorry, bad timing, just like on Twitter, and fired Nagelsmann.
And here's the funny thing about that. This would have been like a complete sort of circle of life thing because Mourinho got fired before a cup final, this exact cup final. If you bring him back for this cup final, does Jose get you across the line?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because even at the end of the day, he knows they're playing the walk-in wounded. He knows they're playing 18-year-olds. We're starting 6 center backs we're getting
Silva is in the game. Silva plays.
Yeah, Silva plays for sure.
Backs play. Trevor actually starts. Trevor starts. Chalobah starts. Or Silva starts. Disasi starts. Chilwell starts. All the defenders, they start.
It's a new system. It's the 6-back system.
The 6-2-1.
If you have solid defenders, you're literally looking at hey, these academy guys are not IQ better than us. Right. They might out physical. But with the athleticism, but they're not smarter than us.
That's why it baffles me that Silva didn't get put in this game, man. He dresses out. He goes to the sideline.
Fixes in. They once it came out that the Conference League was going to cost more to be in, then what's the point, right? What's the point?
The point is the DNA.
They should have won. They should have won. The point
is it's a title. The point is I don't care if it costs us money. I don't care if we have to. I don't care. It's a title. It solidifies you in the ability to win tournaments.
And what player wants to go there? If I know my manager's Pochettino, who couldn't win with Gareth Bale. He couldn't win with Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe, and now he's here at Chelsea with money, and he picked a lot of his players, and he can't win here. Yep. Well, why would I want him? Why as a player? What is this manager going to do to grow me? Because when players go to teams, why are they going to Arteta? Because Arteta's going to grow him. Because he will. If the track record, he's going to grow him. If I'm going to Newcastle, Eddie Howe grows guys. Ange grows guys, Pep grows guys, Klopp grows guys. I would even say that Ten Hag grows guys. More than what Pochettino has done.
Which is crazy because Poch, that was how he made it. That's how he got the Spurs job.
Because no one
at Southampton. Well, he was at Southampton and he was growing guys.
But he's the Caicedo and Enzo of managers.
Oh no!
Show me where my evidence is incorrect. And I'm not knocking him, because I promise you send him back to Southampton, or you send him to like one of the sort of the bottom third teams, he makes them good. He for sure makes them good.
Just grossly overrated because he took serial bottlers from being 14th place all the time up into the big six, into the top four for a few seasons, and now he's PSG material and Chelsea material.
And he's not.
And honestly, man,
So Spursy.
I mean, yeah, it's Spursy. It's just not. It's like I said, man.
Congratulations to Poole, because Poole did win. You can't take that from them. They did win. I know some people were talking about this is the Van Dijk sort of farewell tour as well, because it's likely he won't be back at the club next year. So as the
it's poetic. I can't love it anymore for them. If I was a Poole fan, this is an amazing moment.
Yeah.
The reason I'm sour about it is, of course, flowers to the kids and Klopp and Van Dijk, and of course Liverpool get another trophy, extending their lead in as far as having the most trophies in England. All this, yeah. But we talked about it last season. This tournament really serves in the greater picture as a momentum builder, as a huge boost of momentum and confidence, and because at the end of the day, it's $100,000 check they just got. Woohoo! But what it really does is it's going to spur them on, and that's like the biggest thing for me that I'm like angry about. Yes, they're going to play
because Ten Hag won it,
and they finished third.
But they were always like around there because Rashford was having an amazing season.
Yeah, look, United are a whole different thing, and I don't think that they've changed at all from that. From that point, I don't think they've gone up at all. But we'll get there in a bit. But yeah, I think perhaps we're going to see even more. What we might see the entire under-21 team against Southampton for Liverpool.
Yeah, I don't
Wednesday.
think they care about that game at all.
Yeah, that game is they might play the same 11 that played against Stokes in the U21s Premier League 2.
Because why would I play Salah or any of those guys in this game?
City is 2 weeks away. City and Anfield is 2 weeks away, so there's no point in.
I don't expect to see him to start. I told you he wasn't going to start the last one. He's not going to start this one either.
I don't know. As far as City though, y'all play Luton at Luton in the FA Cup, so that's
not going to start. He's not going to start.
That's fair. That's fair. But
what game is more important? Do we care about winning the FA Cup, or do we want to win the league and have a chance? Because if De Bruyne gets hurt in this game, was it worth it? The answer
not
is
at all. Not at all.
It's not even a question.
It's a Manchester derby at the weekend before Liverpool.
You're playing for those. You give them 10 minutes or whatever, run around. Whatever.
You probably won't even see De Bruyne versus Copenhagen in the return fixture of the Champions League.
Why?
You're up 3-1. Yeah.
Why?
De Bruyne, yeah, he's definitely being saved for United and Liverpool, of course. But yeah, tough days ahead, tough days behind for the Chelsea Blues. But
hey, a question before we switch off of Chelsea.
Yeah.
This is, I guess, for all you guys, because I mean, obviously, Arsenal. I think Arsenal has like 3-4 games in the States this year. Is that right?
In the summer, yeah.
Philly, and they play.
We're playing United and Pool at least.
Because no, it's Liverpool plays United in South Carolina. But so,
right.
So, X, I think this matters. Are you going to watch Chelsea play this summer?
No, I'm not going to go watch the squad.
But so if they say they get a new manager, do you go?
If it's Mal. Or Tuchel.
That's the only guy you go for.
What about Nagelsmann?
Because he's been really
the only way I go see this Chelsea squad. The only way I go see this Chelsea squad is if they insert the DNA of this club. What it means to be a Chelsea fan in this club in this era. That is the only way I will go see this squad, because this is not my Chelsea. This is not my team. This is not the Chelsea that the standards that we have been set for us and why we are Chelsea fans are gone. Until you bring those back, I am not going to go watch you. I'm not going to go watch you play some summer Cracker Jack trophy box, act like you're all good and bad, and we're this old revamped squad. And then when it comes to brass tacks, you want to show us that? You want to spend $1 billion to lose to that? You want to spend $1 billion to come in 10th? I'm not supporting that. I'm not about that. That is not my squad. That is not why I'm a Chelsea fan at all. I will not stand behind that. If they bring back Mao, if they bring back Tuchel, if they bring back somebody who brought us silverware and can command that locker room and make those boys play for this club to what it means to be a Chelsea player, you're on an 8-year contract. If you haven't figured it out by now, I'm sorry, gone. Take the loss, gone. If them boys have not bought in to what it means to be here, regardless of the manager, what it means to go train at Cobham, what it means to go put that youth academy, what it means to go put the example in front of that youth academy as the senior squad, you don't deserve to be there. Period. That's where I'm at with it. You can't produce, you are gone. Player, coach, manager, sporting director, medical staff, it was always held to that standard. It did not matter. It was top down, every position. If you had a handle on this club, you produced or you were gone. There is no clown rodeo Sunday. Let's go chill at the beach at the hotel, play pool and basketball in the swimming pool at the lobby. Nah, bro, that is not my club. I will not go support them anytime in the States unless they bring back the DNA of this club.
So last question on it. So if you had dreamed 2 players that you could bring in to help correct the ship, what 2 guys would you bring in? 2, only 2.
Osimhen, because he's a fan of the club. I would give him his shot. If we are spending $100 million, might as well spend it on somebody who loves to be here.
Okay.
So, yeah, I would buy Victor immediately. Okay. Put him at the 9, give him his chance.
All right.
Send Jackson on loan. Send him. I don't care. Mudryk, I would also send on loan. He's young enough to do so. I think they both need it. Premier League loans, not out of country. Let them play in the Prem. Let them get used to
Luton Town, man. Forrest will bring him. Forrest will gobble him up.
So he's my first and foremost. And honestly, if you're spending hundreds of millions of dollars, go get Davies before Madrid scoops him up, bro.
What about Kimmich, dude? What about Kimmich?
I don't.
Kimmich doesn't want to go either. I mean, he doesn't want to be there either.
Doesn't want to be there either. I think our defense needs to be shored up faster than our midfield. Because if we drop Connor and we slot Nkunku into the 10 or Palmer into the 10 like we're supposed to, and we have our wingers shored up, because if Nkunku, if it goes Sterling, if we keep him, God forbid we do, it would go Sterling, Osimhen, Nkunku, and then Palmer can either slot to the middle, allowing Connor to drop back and keep Caicedo in. So immediately hits my bench. I've never been a fan of Enzo Fernandez. I think he was a horrible buy. I've said it since day one. He's overrated. He sat behind Messi, rode the 11 games, got a fat check. Now he'll never produce another thing in his entire career. That was the highlight of his career. Not being a blue. He will
we'll
not
see this summer. We'll see this summer.
We'll see, yeah.
Overrated. And they gave them that tournament, so he looked even better. All he had to do was give the ball to Messi, and he knew that he knew the jig was up essentially before he ever even had to go on to that tournament.
I feel like I could have shined, could have shown bright right next to Leo Messi in that Argentina team.
For me, it is that caliber. It is either I would like the Kimmich, I wouldn't be mad at it, but Victor's my first and foremost, and then I would buy a right back to replace Reece James.
Yeah. Wow.
And because in this world, I'm selling Reece James as well. I don't care how unpopular opinion it is. If you cannot produce for this club again, if you are injured more games than you are, I don't care how good you are and how prolific you are. And I understand you love the club. You're born and bred here. Bro, you are costing us more now being injured because you are our captain than you are producing for us on the field, because of Reece James in that game completely changes that, because Reece James probably ends up in the box and scores in that game. Malo Gusto had a shocker of a game. Few good touches, like the silky smooth little dinks that he gave the offenders sometimes. Those were nice.
Yeah, well, consistency, availability is the best ability.
Yes. So I'm selling Reece and I'm buying either Davies, Kimmich I'm fine with. It's Osimhen and Davies for me. I don't let Madrid sweep. I don't let Madrid sweep him and Mbappe here in 2 years, bro. You're gonna have the fastest. You're gonna have the fastest squad in the history of the game, bro. You're gonna have
the team is about to be
Vinicius, Rodrigo,
so dumb.
Mbappe, Davies, bro.
Somebody stop them. Somebody please.
Yeah, right, dude.
Somebody please stop them.
Ancelotti's not leaving if they get all of them.
Speaking of teams that I'm just dying for someone, please stop them. It's another arrogant performance from the citizens in away to Bournemouth. Didn't get out of second gear.
Didn't need to.
Needed. I don't know, man. They looked up against it there a little bit at the end of the game. They needed a tap in off just a terrible shot from Erling Haaland. I mean, what is this guy? This guy's a bum out here. What's he even doing? His defender makes a horrible, naive challenge, and he's able to spin him, and then he hits it right at the goalkeeper. What a loser, And then they need old Philly Foden to get the tap in, because why would his man be tracking him into the box? And then City just kept me believing that maybe Golanke was going to spring one, just maybe. But of course, I'm left infuriated again. What you saying, Lewis?
Well, it was funny watching this game because I think I don't know. I may have predicted the lineup. I had a feeling that De Bruyne wouldn't play much, because why, right? If you were feeling something's whatever. I was actually shocked that Nunez started on the left wing.
He wasn't great.
No, he was not. But then you're like, do you want Nunez, controlling the center of the park, right? So that was the alternative. I mean, because you could have stuck Foden out there, right? But then what do you have? What's happening in the center of the park? So I mean, the City was fine for like 2/3 of the game, and then the last third they looked. It just, I've said it. I've said Haaland is out of form. I've been consistent with that.
I was joking.
No. But no, I know you're joking, but at the same time, these are shots he finishes, man. He that
was a tough angle. Let's not, that.
No. I'm just, but even tough angle. Like, think about the goals he scored last year, man. Like he finishes these. So, he got subbed off, which is something that doesn't happen often. And Alvarez came on, but it changed everything, because like when they took Kovacic off, it looked really different too. So I look at this and I say, there is sort of a disjointedness in the play. I don't know. See, I understand your frustration, and you can use arrogance because that's your word of choice. But I do think there's something not clicking yet there, and I mean, it's something where they're finding a way to win, which is good. You're finding a way to win, but at the same time, it's just there's something not clicking correctly with the team. And De Bruyne came on, and they didn't look any different when he came on. Like, that's when they started to look more shambolic when he came on, and it's something that I don't. I mean, again, it's a away game. All away games are different than home games, but
it was raining really hard.
Yeah, and so you look at it, and so at the end of the day, he got a clean sheet. I didn't know Ederson had that many clean sheets in his career. Congratulations to Ederson. Like, he has some record or something like that.
Was it his 100th clean sheet for City?
Yeah. And it's good. I mean, you can see Pep had some frustration there, but what can you do? Like, Doku came on and he didn't produce anything. And you look at the team and you can see there's something disjointed with the team. But they have enough chemistry with each other where they can find a way to work forward. I mean, Bournemouth looked threatening at the end, but at the end of the day, the points are the points. Am I happy with how they played? They could have played a lot better, but at the same time, they're still not finishing chances. I think how many shots did they have?
A lot.
It was like it was something stupid. It was like it was a
lot again. Yeah,
and they're not converting. there's not scoring. And again, this is not like me sort of being right, but I just saw when Patrick said, hey, they're going to score 3. And I'm like, I didn't see it. I just didn't see it because there was something disjointed then when I saw it. And so, am I happy with the end result? Yes. 3 points. Good. March on. 1 point behind Liverpool. Got to play Liverpool. Got to play United. Got to play Arsenal.
It's just City trying to look just a little bit bad. So then other teams are like, hey, yo, they're a little bit bad. And then you play them.
United into a sense of security.
You play them and then you think, smack.
They're trying to lure Manchester United into a false sense of security.
What security does you have anyways?
How I had it in the back of my mind, and I made the comment last week or on Thursday that City are about to dump on somebody. An absolute mauling is coming for someone.
6-0.
And we all know what happened to United at the Etihad last season. So it could be another absolute ridiculous just scoreline. And I would not have it. I mean, of course I want City to lose, but I don't even get close to expecting that. So I hate United, so I wouldn't mind seeing that at all.
I mean, United lost on their own, so I mean, I don't think City is lulling them into anything.
That's fair.
They lost
fair.
on their own.
Let me ask you this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems to me that when Kovacic starts, Nunez also starts every time. Yes. Why is that?
In my opinion, normally when you see that pairing, there's it's because I think he provides that security where I think he sees those two guys as one player. I think Nunez gives you something going forward, even though he doesn't score goals. It gives you something in the center of the park, not wide, but in the center of the park, he gives you something going forward.
So Kova plus Nunez equals Gundogan.
I think that's what he's trying.
That's the idea.
Yeah, but if even when they make subs, they come on together as subs.
Right. They
come on together that way as well.
Yeah, that was just interesting. I just kind of noticed that.
Yeah. It's. They should have. I don't. I'll put it like this. I don't know if they could have played better. I don't know what's going on in the back rooms. I don't know what's going on with them mentally. But long seasons, lots of expectations. Sometimes people don't turn on all the time. I think Walker not playing was he needed a game out. And we'll see. I'm pretty sure Walker will probably play in this game against Leeds. Or
it's away to Luton.
Oh, Luton. I'm sorry, Luton.
You're at the Kenny on Tuesday, yeah.
So I think I would say Walker probably plays in this one. And Gvardiol is not healthy yet, so he probably won't play. But because at this time of the season, Pep normally keeps that back line the same, where he doesn't make a couple rotations there. So I don't know if Stone starts though. I don't know because of the derby.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there any saving for United?
Yeah, I think Stones might come on as a sub. Rodri's obviously gonna play. I don't know if Haaland starts this one. I don't know. Well, because his form has been bad. This is like Alvarez. The last time you saw Alvarez sub on for Haaland, the next game, if I'm not mistaken, Haaland didn't start. And then Alvarez started because we're like a cup game. So it's weird based on that. But because I know Haaland starting the derby, period. And so if we're looking at the derby and we want everybody fresh, I think you have a second team with those starter guys come on later if the game is under control. Because the biggest thing that you've seen with City and the last one, the win before that one, in the draw, is that they're not finishing games well. And it's not that it's just that there's a disjointedness that happens. And I'm sure it's connected to fatigue, but there's a disjointedness where they're not even keeping the ball at all. I don't know. And Grealish, I think Grealish will probably play this one. They say Grealish is good to go now. So Grealish will probably start this one too.
There might be this game actually might not be the Luton City game. That is might not actually be kind of what I'm hyping it to be what the Premier League game would be, because with Everton getting 4 of their points back,
Yeah.
What was 6?
well,
they
their
only lost 6.
deduction was reduced to 6.
Oh, I
It was
see.
10
I see.
before.
So they get 4 of their points back, and they go 5 clear of Luton. Luton might just be like, look, number 1 is survival, and every other objective is so far down from surviving the league. Is there a world where they also kind of rotate a little bit and they're like, all right, let's just, put in a good performance.
Is Forrest going to
It's
catch
Man City, and so this is might be like a dead game.
Forrest catch points? Luton are fine, bro.
If Forrest,
Well, Forest plays Pool next, and Luton plays Villa. So they both have tough ones. They're 4-point different. If obviously, we can assume that Forest will lose to
the rest of their run.
So Luton will be 1 point back. If I'm doing the math and I'm Luton Town,
if they beat Villa,
right? But I'm saying if I'm
that's a big if.
But if I'm playing Luton Town, do I play my best guys against City in the FA Cup game, or do I hold them for Villa? I play them in Villa because I want the 3 points because I'm confident that Pool will be
even a point.
Because then I'm 1 point behind.
But the Palace game, Bournemouth,
it's a game in hand, so they're not actually a point behind.
That's why I brought it up, because I was like, man, are they
there's
gonna?
Not too many of their points there for them to make up here at the end of their season, bro. They got Palace, Bournemouth, Forest, Tottenham, Arsenal, Bournemouth, City, Brentford, Wolves, Everton, West Ham, Fulham.
And those are. Look at the way they are. Depending on how many games they have at home, they can get some points out of those.
That's 1, 2, 3.
They can survive, man. I still back them. I think they can definitely survive. And
6 of those games are at home.
Let's not forget that there's still another case pending on Everton, and so they might still catch another 10 as well. But I think Luton have what it takes to stay in the league, and I hope they do it. But
do you think points should be reduced at the beginning of the season only? They shouldn't be able to come in right here at the death nail and do point deduction. Ha! They should have a window where they have to get this done.
I think it just.
I'm gonna say no too, because you don't know when those charges and things happen. You don't know how those cases go. For example, when I shared that story about managers saying, "Hey, you should only be able to replace managers in transfer windows." That's insane. That's insane. If you suck right now, why would I let you stay until the window?
What are you trying to unionize the managers?
I can bench a player. I can't bench a manager.
Try to get a managers union out here.
Well, Potter probably is leading that. So,
but are you worried, Lewis? Worried about these performances? Are you confident as you were last pod about bringing in the performance versus United and Liverpool and the big ones?
I look at it like this. Even in the space of playing poorly, there's enough connectedness where they find their way. And the thing is, they know what they're doing. They can see the mistakes they're making. They're communicating with each other. And they've dealt with sort of these things because the season is a war of attrition. So it's a matter of getting your guys healthy. But see, we sometimes incorrectly equate health with form. Because one of my first things about Haaland was he was healthy, but I knew he wasn't in form. And then you could see, and he's been playing that way. He's not in form, and that's here. You can't get that right until his head is right. So, you look at that. Rodri, because, even though Rodri's been great, but Rodri hasn't been on it this year. Since January, these last couple of games, he's been shaky, where he's been losing the ball. And so I think there's enough of uneasiness in sort of positions and where your guy is going to be that there has to be there's a confidence that we can go out and beat anybody. So that's always there. We can go out, we can beat anybody, but we're not going to hold ourselves to how we're going to beat them. So we're not going to be like, hey, this is a bottom feeder, we're going to mash it. Just need to get the 3 points, because that's what they understand and recognize, is that I just need 3 points. If it's pretty, that doesn't matter. My analogy, I'm a Floyd Mayweather it and just ugly win until the end. If I have to ugly win it until the end, and I'm the champion, then that's what matters at the end of the day. And so you look at that. So am I confident? Yes, they should absolutely win the game against Luton. What the margin is, no idea, but they should.
I hear that. Yeah, as much as we want and expect Pep and City to play, scintillating, smash mouth, destroy everybody football, it's still okay, as Lewis reminded us last pod, to win ugly. I mean, hey, the Invincibles drew 12 times. And if you recall, United missed a penalty. Eric Cantona hit the post on a PK in that season at Old Trafford, and we could have lost that game. Ended up drawing. So it's the ugly results still matter. But the Arsenal are anything but these days in the Premier League. Another absolutely dominant performance.
Yeah, man.
And we just demolished Newcastle. And I think there's a number of factors on this one. And I think the biggest one is my man Jorginho. $12 million, doing more than Enzo and Caicedo even can dream of for $12 million bucks. Like when we first brought him in, I was whatever, about the signing. Yeah. And he's more than made up that loot. Has definitely been a huge bargain. And he's in the year he's been here, he's come in, he's done the job anytime he's been asked. We haven't had to rely on him too much, which has been good, as far as keeping him healthy in his minutes. And on Saturday, in that first half, we were just completely dominant. And it was shocking that Newcastle let him play so much. They didn't press Jorginho. And I think that has to do with the fact that they probably prepared all week to press Odegaard and to press Rice and to mark our normal ball progressors out of the match, because that's what happened at Porto. Odegaard and Rice got absolutely pressed out of the game and we didn't have an answer. So obviously, I mean, and that's what Newcastle should have done. That's what they were expecting. And so Arteta pulled a little switcheroo. Gotcha. And instead of playing, and it wasn't even the same way we played against Liverpool. This one was, Jorginho was the pure 6, deep-lying, progressor, playmaker role. And Rice was pushed forward in that left 8 role, which Rice definitely had a fantastic game. But that's not where he's best. That's not his best spot. But Jorginho was cooking for sure. Spraying balls left and right, long balls, short passes, getting stuck into challenges, last-ditch effort, winning balls in the air, winning second balls. Man was everywhere. And it took them until the second half to realize, maybe we should put pressure on this guy. He's ripping us to bits. So, and they did that better in the second half, I thought. But yeah, definitely credit goes to Jorginho, man of the match for me. And I want to clarify something. I want to, hold my hands up and say I was a wee bit harsh on Kai Havertz in my match reaction, but I was still bitter. My match reaction, if you go look at it, I was still a bit scathing, because in my head, in my mind, my mindset was still, where the hell was this on Wednesday? That's where my head was. So during the match reaction, I was a wee bitter. And so I remember saying, I gave Kai Havertz like a 6, and I went, it's far. But when I went back and rewatched the game with a more tactical lens, and he's actually had one of the best games I've seen him have in an Arsenal shirt. In that first half, he was everywhere. He was winning head. I mean, he won a header and then contributed to the play that won the corner in the first 40 seconds of the game. And then he won the second corner that we won like another 25 seconds later. So right out the rip, he was on it. His movement up top is far better than his movement as a left-sided 8 midfielder. And I think that is definitely the position he should play, is up top. It's really the only thing he played for Chelsea. Tuchel knew that was the only place he would ever do anything at all.
It's the only time he's positive. It's the only time he's actually positive. And other than hold up or knocking down a ball,
I mean, his hold up play was fantastic.
He always has been
in this game. And you got to give him credit when it's due. He definitely had a good game. Got his goal. Was in the right spot to get the goal. Had an assist as well. And to say that, let's give Kai Havertz credit for the assist. He played a 4-yard pass to Saka, who bamboozles 3 guys and rips one into the. So it's a Saka goal, but
right.
Havertz gets credited with the assist, and not for nothing. Homie's on 7 goals and 4 assists now. He's only 3 assists away from Xhaka numbers, which is that's the standard for him this season, is to improve on that. Our goals are coming from everywhere. I heard a stat that said we have 18 different goal scorers this season.
Wow.
That's
how we
everyone.
won. I mean, that's how we won the league, bro.
That's all of them. They're all contributing. And they all have more goals than Antony.
Yeah, duh.
Even Jakub Kivior. Shout out Jakub Kivior coming in. He's been consistently performing the last 3-4 games. He's looked good, done a job, and he was getting forward, overlapping, made the near post run for the goal. He's been very solid at the back, and definitely give him his props for the last few games. And we haven't really missed, Tomiyasu or Zinchenko like you would expect, and so I thought he had a good game as well. Felt nice to get the revenge for sure, and I think that this result 100% proves that it was just the way we approached the game in Porto. It was just straight up whatever Arteta said, whatever his mentality is what got into the team, and that was what was on display in Portugal. And to come back, back at home in front of the home fans, it was a night game.
The debacle that Newcastle have at the beginning of this game absolutely set the tone.
You love to see it.
For the rest of their game. As soon as this happens, Newcastle literally switch.
You love to see it, man.
Off.
They are the hardest. I said Chelsea was hard. Newcastle is one of the most difficult teams to figure out, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean even though Chelsea can pass them because they have a game in hand and they're 2 points in front. Chelsea can jump them to 10.
Oh wow, wow! They're plummeting.
Doesn't
you never know. You never know if they're going to show up or not. It was shocking that they didn't press Jorginho in that first half, and the way when we would play the ball to the left, and Kivior would be on the ball, that their formation scrunched up, and they had numerous occasions, their 3 central midfielders could have reached out and touched each other. That's how close they were. When we would move the ball to one side, I was amazed by that, and I was definitely impressed again with the way we were able to keep Guimaraes from getting on the ball. You could see every time they would play it into him, somebody would activate and be on him, like in his face. Once again, want to praise the fact that our press is consistent. It's what we're really good at that, and we do really well with that. And I think once again, Martin Odegaard, that's probably in this game was the best part of his game, was the organization and the pressing. Is like on the ball, he did some good things for sure, but not his best, not his best day. But
using your comparison, man, we made the comment before. I think because they know Premier League teams so well, the preparation is distinctly different. And that's why I think when you guys play the next leg against Porto, it'll be at home, similar to this. And
we'll
if I'm
smash them.
Arteta, I'm saying, hey, remember when we went to Newcastle and they punched us in the face? And then they came to our house and we punched them in the face? Porto.
We'll smash them. Yeah, we'll definitely. I expect us to come out flying in that game, just like we have been since Dubai. And it's interesting if you look at the way the way teams have made games difficult for us when they have done. If Arsenal score early, you're doomed. You're pretty much you're in hot water. Most teams, if you give a goal to Arsenal early in the game, it's not great, especially in recent days. We scored against Palace early, we hit 5. We didn't score against Forest early and we struggled. Scored against Liverpool pretty early and we're able to see that one out. Scored way early against West Ham, destroyed them. Or that was like the 26th minute or something. But and then we scored early again versus Burnley, wrecked them. Early again, 2 goals against Newcastle, and we could have had 3, 4 even before halftime. Martinelli come in with a flying header, could have had a third right after the second one. Yeah, we're flying, man. We're absolutely flying. I'm loving it, and I definitely think that we'll bring it versus Porto. Yeah, we got a week to chill. Some of those pool days that Xavier were talking about. Maybe we'll have one of those.
There's a difference, man.
No, we're just not in the FA Cup. Is my point. So we'll definitely have time to focus, and it's Sheffield.
Yeah,
away at the weekend. It's
walk.
another big score I'm expecting. But yeah, we definitely needed this as far as the reaction goes. Definitely to get the spirits back up after the Porto game. And like I say, it just proves that it was all about the mental approach to the Porto game. And like you say, Lewis, it'll be far different when that rolls back around. But, it's very important, I think. Yes, we're destroying teams. And we're blitzing them. I think it's very important that we keep the concentration, though. Yes, Sheffield are atrocious. They're awful. But we still got to go there and get the job done no matter what. Get it done early. Yes, we're gonna beat them. I have all confidence. They're literally fighting amongst each other on the field.
Right.
Sheffield, So I definitely have all confidence that we can keep up.
Did a man get a card for fighting with his own?
There was a VAR check for a red card for violent conduct. You can get a red card if you punch your own man in the face.
If you punch your own player, wow.
Yeah, so that they almost it was a VAR check to see if it was violent enough to send him off.
Can't even hit my own teammate anymore, man.
Crazy, but yeah. But yeah, I think absolute perfect day. We were able to get all the subs on. And yeah, I think honestly moving forward, I don't know if I want to, how often we should play like that with Jorginho as the pure 6 and Rice as the 8 pushed forward. It's not Rice's best position.
But is he better than anything else you've had in that position? Because if that's the answer, a pragmatic manager looks at that and says, that's what I play if no one else can play it. Because in at least 4 podcasts, you're like the left-sided 8, no one can play there. And now you got somebody who can play there. Not the way you want, but he's better than anything else you have there.
I think that if Rice and Jorginho are going to be in the same team, it needs to be a double pivot like versus Liverpool. And we need to have, yeah, and then it would be Havertz up top and Odegaard Because when the four of them create a it was the same kind of box we were creating to box in Guimaraes that we were doing to McAllister versus Liverpool. That's the way it kind of forms in our press, in our defensive shape with Havertz, Odegaard, Jorginho, and Rice. But you could tell Rice was doing things that you could tell Arteta wants from that position more so than against Liverpool, where it was a different kind of approach. I just think that Rice is so good as the deep lying 6 role.
You don't change it.
That Havertz's drop off. I don't know. Georgie's good there too. It's the issue is if we get into a basketball type game, Georgie's toast.
But
like
go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Because my thing is, and I hear you, X, but my thing is, if the best you've seen Kai play is in the 9, and the best that you have in that 8 is Rice, even though that's not the best, but he's better than anybody else you have in their stability at this point, because of what you've been asking for, what you complained about in the Porto game was that stability. While it's not everybody in their best position, you play them where you get the best results. For example, when City plays, and they played their best, that back line was Walker, Diaz, Akanji, Ake. Akanji's not the best right back or left back, but they play their best with those people there. And so it's that, because at that point, do you want to have the best individual players and hope they have a good game, or play the best unit that's cohesive and win the game with certainty? And if I'm Arteta and I saw that worked, that's what I play.
I hear that, because were Partey fit, that's how it would work out. Because I swear to all of the gods, Mikel Arteta, if Partey comes back fit and you play him at right back, but good thing we don't really have to worry about that, because he doesn't ever.
He's about to say
come back
healthy,
fit.
Yeah.
Is he, like, what's the window on him? Like, what's the deal, man? Like, how long is he out? Because this says a few days. It says muscle injury, a few days.
He was in training, and there were a bunch of wafflers on Instagram telling me he was going to be in the squad for the Newcastle game. So no one knows. It's just a bunch of posts of him in practice, and then, he never shows up for the games. I don't really trust anything when it comes to Partey anymore. And when I see stuff on Instagram telling me that he's back and he's going to be in training and he's in the next squad, it kind of pisses me off, because I'm like, no, he's not. Stop lying.
What's the length on his contract? Is he almost out of contract?
I think he's got a year and whatever's left in this season. So a year plus.
That means this is the best time to sell him.
We gotta move him on. We just have to move him on. But yeah, those are conversations for another day. Hopefully we can get him back and he can contribute to the end of this season. Word is Timber's going to be coming back soon as well. We might even see him at the return leg. It'll be interesting to see how we ease him back into the team, because he was only really there for like
the beginning. Preseason. Yeah, and you don't play like that anymore.
Well, just because Kivior can't invert, when Timber comes back, he'll invert, and Ben White will not.
Yeah, but but how does that affect the chemistry, right? I mean, it affects when you find. I'm a firm believer, when you find your machine working right, where all the cogs are turning in the right place, and I don't have to do any tinkering, let him come on as a sub.
We'll see, man. He's a better defender than all of them. He just is. Even from I think I saw him play twice in preseason. I was very impressed and very excited.
He's a good player. Yeah.
So hopefully he can also contribute to the season. But yeah, we're in a good way right now. Got a, probably not the easiest because Sheffield at home would be the easiest fixture of the season, but the on paper easiest away fixture of the season. Sheffield with a neg 44 goal difference, so we should be able to handle that. And yeah, man, good time to be an Arsenal fan. I'm excited, and I'm hoping that if Arteta, because here's my thing on Arteta. We were really harsh on him last time out. I want him to succeed. I think he can succeed. I think he has the potential to get us there and get us over the line and to figure out how to get the mental game right for these big away nights in the Champions League and big away games in the Premier League when we need these points. I think he can. I just don't know how fast, how quick that's going to happen. But I wouldn't mind seeing him continue to be able to build. As we said last time on, how long did it take? It took Klopp 4 years to win the league. And, what is his fifth season he won the league?
Yeah.
So it takes building it up. And yeah, Arteta's been here for 5 years. I think he'll be here for at least another season, and I'm okay with that. And I think even if we don't, I think if we lose to Porto, it's going to be devastating, and that's very glaring against him. But I think that's really the only hurdle he needs to leap. If we stay in the league, in the title race, until right at the very end, what if we lose? Say we lose it on the penultimate game or something like that, and then we go out to Madrid in the quarterfinals. Am I gutted? Of course. At that point, my opinion has changed, though. I don't think Arteta needs to be fired at that point. Because as much as I hate giving excuses, it's not like it's just we're just going to come in here and because it's been 5 years, we're going to win now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they don't give you anything.
That's not how that goes.
They don't give you anything.
And yes, I think it's time we win. I think we do need to win because it's been flipping 20 years. But I understand what we're up against. And so if we can continue to play like we are every game for the rest of the season, we got a shot.
Well, it sounds like you sound like me last week when I said one game at a time. And it's really, that's all it is, man. You're playing one game seasons, man.
Hey, Ten Hag said it best. It's all cup finals from here on out.
Well, here's the thing
except for Fulham at home.
But it's funny because when managers say stuff like that, it's very interesting to me because if you say it's one game seasons, that's different than a cup final. Because then there's a different level of pressure because a cup final is a one-off game.
Yeah.
Like Chelsea played City and then they played a cup final and they prepared completely differently because the mentality was it was a cup final. But if you play this game like I got to get these points, that's not the same thing. And you really have to take it that way because in those games, cup finals, you get penalties, you get extra time. In a season game where I need points,
you got to win in the 90.
I only have 90 minutes. And it's a very different mentality there because in the cup final, there's still, they can give me this and they can give, there's more leeway in the cup final. In a league game, you only got your 90. That's it. That's a more important thing to focus on than a cup final.
I like that. Yeah, I like it a lot. Well said. Hopefully, Arteta and Arsenal will be doing just that. But of course, there were plenty of other games to go through to discuss. I would like to start with the wonderful result at Old Trafford. Of course, why wouldn't we?
What are they doing, man? What are they doing there?
I turned it, bro.
What are they doing?
In my gut, when I changed my prediction, I literally was like, yo, Fulham might Fulham might take this on United today. And I was like, nah, they're at home, Old Trafford effect. It's at least going to be a draw. Bro,
What are they doing?
Got absolutely embarrassed.
It's a Nigerian masterclass.
Oh, bro.
How are you about to tell me that you got dunked on at home by my man, Alex Iwobi? Alex, put some respect on his name, Iwobi, dunking on him at Old Trafford. You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. Hale end guy, once a gunner, man. Once a gunner, baby. Let's go. He enjoyed getting the last minute winner.
Absolutely.
Oh, bro.
The ones he should have hit early. So
that's Alex Iwobi, though. I went through years of that where he's got all the energy, great progressor of the ball, loves to run forward with the ball. He'll run at your guy, and then he goes all Raheem Sterling in the end. And usually he'll have some wayward touch, or he'll shoot it into C19, or his final pass isn't that great. But he was cooking. He was absolutely doing it on Saturday. Man, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that one for sure. Bassi getting the other goal, also Nigerian. But Man United are just a shade, an absolute shell of the team that I remember back in the day. Are you serious? All these Man United fans saying Ten Hag doesn't have a style. We don't know what the identity of this team is. We don't know what the style is. Or just
sit back and counter, bro. You already know the style. Exactly. Y'all just don't it.
Thank you. Took the words out of my mouth. Exactly. You just don't want to admit the fact that at home versus Fulham, you're playing sit back and counter.
Yep.
My goodness. Casemiro, greatest center defensive midfielder ever to play the game. Sorry, buddy. You're washed. It's over for you. Washed up, dude. When Kobe Mainu, 18, 19 years old, is like the best player on your team, I think Ten Hag has finally realized that it was that the mistake of buying Antony was just such a glaring error. Imagine coming on for like 30 seconds in the game after you've gone down.
Yep.
Dagger blow, end of the match. How about Adama Traore coming out of nowhere?
Oh. I think somebody texted the group that.
From Wolves
yeah.
to Barcelona in one of the craziest moves ever to disappear and then pop back up at Old Trafford. Old Harry, sending Harry for a sub, sending Harry for a hot dog. I mean, if Maguire's gonna make that challenge on the halfway line, dude, you can't get. They used to call that when we were kids. They called that the Egyptian, where you'd pass it around one side of him and run around the other side. Come on, bro. You didn't expect to see that in a professional game at Old Trafford. Just gets done. And then once you're running towards your own goal and trying to chase Adama Traore, it's over. It's over for you, man. Credit Fulham, dude.
Yeah.
But I fear for how is Manchester United in 6th place?
0 goal difference, right? Did I read that right?
0.
They have a 0 goal difference.
0 goal difference now.
Well, they're in 6th place because Brighton doesn't know how to play consistent at all.
We suck this year, so
Spurs are whatever they are. West Ham is inconsistent. Wolves are inconsistent. Newcastle inconsistent. And Chelsea's inconsistent.
I think of all of those teams, Wolves have the most consistent performance.
They do. Of all of them, yes.
As far as performances.
Play them, yeah.
Yeah. And speaking of, they played Sheffield United.
Yeah.
And I expected Wolves to do more. I actually turned the game off at one point. I think I switched to a different game. But Sheffield, man.
Oh, yeah. I did not
mudded. Just like, I mean, how much worse can it get? These guys almost get a red card for fighting with each other.
Oof.
There was a dead ball. It
Yeah,
wasn't. The ball wasn't even. It was a goal kick. It wasn't even in play.
I did see that.
Wow.
Talk about getting memed.
Wow, dude. That is.
That
Yeah,
tells you
man.
everything you need to know about the locker room, though, man.
Yeah, they just need to. They just need to go ahead and get out of the league. It's
One
bad.
down.
Oh no, they're definitely down, and so are Burnley.
Yeah, so are Burnley.
Yeah.
Red card did not help. Definitely not. And then Palace smoke them.
Well, I was gonna say I had Palace
3-0.
winning this game, not by 3. Yeah.
Well, it was a red. I mean, yeah, the red, obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
Same goes for the Brighton game, home to Everton, whom, let's face it, they should be beating at home. Early red card.
After,
It was like 26th, 27th minute, and they spent an hour. And then Everton just can't hang on in the end.
Floodgates for all of 10 minutes.
Well, I mean, yeah, Lewis Dunk in the very end, in the death, to save it. To save a point versus Everton at home. Yeah. Brighton, man, talk about an enigma. Because one week you beat relegation fodder 5-0, and then in the cup you beat them 5-2, and then you play Everton, who are also kind of in the same vein. And
well, when I heard Everton were getting their points back, I was like, all right, now watch out because they might got a little bit of wind.
A points boost.
Points boost. They had the
points back boost.
Boost, yeah.
Yeah, maybe, man. Maybe. Oh, actually, you know what it was for Palace? It was the new manager bounce.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, the new manager in place now?
Yep.
Yep. Yes, he is. He's been here since last Tuesday. Yep. That was what that one was there. Brighton rescued the draw. Lewis Dunk in the 95th. Let's see what else. The game today was interesting. West Ham 2 up in 6 minutes. Jared Bowen hat trick.
We needed that one though.
Yeah, they definitely needed it. Brentford are in absolute free fall.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, get my man Ivan Toney out of that sinking ship.
I mean, but what did they think? I mean, we got to be realistic, right? Like, what do people think he was going to do this late in the game, you know?
Yeah, I agree. Brentford, man, they got to stay. You got to stay up. You cannot get relegated if you're Brentford. That's bad.
That'd be bad.
That'd be horrifying.
You would see so many people jump ship.
That would be horrifying, dude. And that would really put them in a bad way too, because I don't think they're a team that are just going to immediately bounce back.
They're not. I agree.
Especially when, because the likes of, obviously Tony's gone, but then the likes of Mbomo will probably leave, Wissa will probably leave. These guys that got them there to the league and have established themselves as Premier League players are not going to want to go back to championship salaries.
Regulon's not
yeah, but I'm talking about like Jensen and Norgard, those guys in the middle.
Oh, yeah.
Ethan Pinnock, those kinds of guys. So Brentford in trouble, man. It's not good. Ben Mee, yeah.
Ben Mee.
Oh, goodness gracious. Speaking of another team in trouble, Villa have beaten Forest. Pretty much expected that one.
I think we all called that one.
Yeah, we all called that one, of course.
Of course.
Villa, still a needed win for Villa. Kind of right the ship. They're kind of leading the pack for the rest. Best of the rest at the moment. I think Villa might push on, man, because the way United are performing, kind of seat of your pants, Fergie time winners needed to get points and stuff like that. Spurs are kind of an enigma. You never know when they're gonna give a game to Wolves randomly.
Well, their game in hand is against Chelsea?
It's against Chelsea.
And they're 3 points off of 50.
Yeah. So that'll definitely be an interesting one. But yeah, man, I think Villa can do it. Brighton have fallen off. Newcastle fallen off. West Ham, although they had an impressive game today, kind of fallen off it. It's looking like if Spurs don't pip them, Villa might be able to get that spot. I did want to mention Patrick texted me and said that obviously sorry he couldn't make it, but he did want to say about Chelsea, and I quote, "All I have to say is disappointed, disgusted, pathetic, and embarrassed. Completely unacceptable performance."
Agree with all of it. Yep.
Yes. Well said. Well said. Let's see. Is that all is that everything? Is that everything?
All 6? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go. It's definitely been a wild one. Definitely been some interesting ones, some interesting results, some sad results, of course. But yeah, we're moving forward. It's the FA Cup during the week. Of course, I'll be tuning in, not to watch my beloved Arsenal, but maybe some hate-alongs. Let's go Leeds. Maybe to cheer against all those. Definitely cheering Luton Town. We do not want to see another treble. That would be devastating.
Hater.
And disgusting. Oh, yes, I am. 100%. 100%. I'm a hater. I don't want to see another treble. That would be gross. Because, that won't ever be repeated. I don't even think a four-peat will ever be repeated. So I'm hating on that, too. We got to stop that as well.
But you're not even directing the hate at Liverpool. They have a chance to get the same thing.
But they won't have a four-peat.
No.
It will be 4 back-to-back leagues.
No.
I don't even want to see you live. I don't want to see you win anything. Because that would mean that you've won back-to-back.
Whatever it is.
The only ones you're left in, you won last year.
Yes, that is correct.
Oh my goodness. So imagine seeing a Premier League and Champions League back-to-back. And then after 4 straight Prems and then 2 straight Champions Leagues, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
But it's very possible.
And the people will, default to it's money. And we've proven the money thing is not correct.
No, you have undoubtedly one of the best managers.
I definitely think that the influence of the manager is on full display this season.
Yep.
Yes.
Klopp and his influence, Pochettino and his lack thereof.
Yeah.
Even Gary O'Neill. Props to Gary O'Neill for being so consistent with Wolves.
And
keeps Bournemouth up, gets sacked perhaps unfairly, comes to Wolves flying high, and just showing consistent performance. He's got Tottenham looking better. It's very clear.
Ten Hag has Man United looking exactly the way they look.
The same they've been since Fergie left.
So.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, the influence of the manager is certainly on full display this season. But yeah, feels excited about the FA Cup and about the continuing title race and things heating up as we come to the end of the season. Let's get those likes up on the video. Of course, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. We are on our way to 200 subscribers. And of course, if you're enjoying all the content, get that little notification bell on. Of course, we want to thank you for being here, and you will see us next time.